Let's dive deep into the world of organized crime, where certain individuals and groups pull strings from behind the shadows. From renowned bosses of the Big Five crime families to New Age mob leaders, we would explore the most powerful of them all and how their influence and operations continue to shape America. Lorenzo Manino of the Gambino family. Lorenzo Manino's journey into the dark streets of organized crime began long before he became a household name in the underworld. Born in 1959, Manino grew up in an environment where crime was not just a way of life, but a family tradition. His roots trace back to Sicily, the birthplace of many notorious mobsters, and this heritage played a significant role in shaping his future. Growing up in New York City, he was surrounded by the whispers of illicit activities and the allure of the power that came with being part of the Mafia. It was in this environment that Manino first became acquainted with the Gambino crime family, one of the most powerful and influential mafia families in the United States. The Gambino family, founded by Carlo Gambino, had a long history of criminal activities, ranging from drug trafficking to extortion and murder. By the time Manino was coming of age, the family was already a dominant force in the criminal underworld. It was during the 1970s and 1980s that Manino began his ascent within the family ranks. Manino's rise within the Gambino family was not a matter of chance, but a result of his cunning, ruthlessness, and strategic mind. He started as a low-level associate, performing various tasks for the family. These tasks ranged from running errands to more serious activities like collecting debts and enforcing the family's will. Manino quickly proved himself to be a reliable and efficient operative, earning the trust and respect of his superiors. One of the key figures in Manino's early career was John Gambino, a powerful caporagine within the family. John Gambino recognized Manino's potential and took him under his wing, mentoring him and guiding his rise through the ranks. Under John Gambino's tutelage, Manino learned the intricacies of the family's operations and the importance of loyalty and discretion. By the early 1980s, Manino had established himself as a formidable figure within the Gambino family. His reputation for ruthlessness and efficiency grew, and he began to take on more significant roles within the organization. One of his early notable achievements was his involvement in the family's drug trafficking operations. Despite the Gambino family's official stance against drug trafficking, many members, including Manino, were deeply involved in the lucrative trade. Manino's involvement in drug trafficking brought him into contact with other powerful figures within the Mafia, further solidifying his position within the Gambino family. His ability to navigate the dangerous world of drug trafficking without attracting undue attention from law enforcement was a testament to his strategic mind and careful planning. From a powerful caporagine within the Gambino family to finally becoming the acting boss of the family, he oversaw various operations and commanded the loyalty of numerous associates. These operations involved drug trafficking, labor and construction, racketeering, extortion, and loan sharking operations spanning New York City, New Jersey, and Florida. These activities were the lifeblood of the Gambino family, providing a steady stream of income and maintaining the family's influence over various businesses and individuals. Manino's ability to manage these operations efficiently and effectively earned him the respect of his peers and the fear of those who crossed him. Up next is another of the original Big Five family, the Genovese crime family, being headed by Liborio Salvatore Bomo. Liborio Bomo of the Genovese family. Liborio Salvatore Bomo was born on January 8, 1957, into a family deeply entrenched in the world of organized crime. His father, Salvatore Bomo, was a soldier in the Genovese crime family and had close ties to Anthony "Fat Tony" Salerno, one of the most influential figures in the Mafia. This connection set the stage for Bellamy's future in the underworld, as he was groomed from a young age to follow in his father's footsteps. Bomo's early life was marked by the influence of his family's criminal activities. Growing up in an environment where loyalty and secrecy were paramount, he quickly learned the ropes of the Mafia. His double cousin, Liborio Thomas Bomo, was also a Genovese associate, and their close familial ties often led to confusion among law enforcement. This confusion was so profound that in 1997, Liborio Thomas Bomo swore in an affidavit that he was guilty of federal charges instead of Liborio Bomo, highlighting the intricate web of deception that surrounded their identities. In 1977, at the age of 20, Bellamy was initiated into the Mafia, becoming a member of the 116th Street crew under the leadership of Saverio "Sammy Black" Santora. This initiation marked the beginning of his rise within the Genovese crime family. His early years in the Mafia were characterized by a series of strategic moves and alliances that showcased his cunning and ambition. By 1990, Bellamy's reputation within the Mafia had grown significantly. Kenneth McCabe, an organized crime investigator for the United States Attorney's Office in Manhattan, identified Bellamy as the acting boss of the Genovese Genovese family following the indictment of Vincent Gigante in the infamous Windows case. This case involved a massive scheme to control the installation of windows in New York City buildings, generating millions of dollars for the Mafia. Bellamy's involvement in such high-stakes operations demonstrated his strategic mind and ruthless efficiency. However, Bellamy's ascent to power was not without its challenges. On June 11, 1996, he was indicted on Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act (RICO) charges, including the murders of mobsters Ralph DeSimone and Antonio De Lorenzo. DeSimone was found shot 5 times in the trunk of his car at LaGuardia Airport, while De Lorenzo was discovered shot to death in his backyard in West New York, New Jersey. Both men were suspected of being government informants, a deadly mistake in the Mafia world. Despite the gravity of these charges, Bellamy's lawyers claimed he passed 2 polygraph tests, denying any involvement in the murders. The FBI even shaved his head, searching for evidence that he had used lithium to beat the polygraph machines. In a dramatic turn of events, prosecutors dropped the murder charges in February 1997, offering Bellamy a plea deal for extortion instead. He accepted and was sentenced to 10 years in prison. Bellamy's time behind bars did little to diminish his influence. In July 2001, he was indicted again on money laundering charges related to the Genovese family's control of the International Longshoremen's Association, ILA. He was accused of hiding money stolen from the ILA's pension fund, further entangling him in the web of organized crime. Bellamy pleaded guilty to lesser charges, delaying his release until 2004. Bellamy's eventual release from prison on December 1, 2008, marked a new chapter in his career as boss. Despite his incarceration, he retained significant power within the Genovese family, continuing to make decisions and oversee operations in the United States. Up next is the crime family based in Buffalo, New York, which has operations throughout western New York, Erie, and Pennsylvania, headed by Joseph Todaro Jr. Joseph Todaro Jr. of the Buffalo family. Joseph A. Big Joe Todaro Jr. was born in the mid-1940s to Joseph Todaro Sr. and Josephine Santamaro. Growing up in Buffalo, New York, Todaro Jr. was immersed in a world where family and business were deeply intertwined. His father, Joseph Todaro Sr., was a well-known figure in the community, not just for his business acumen, but also for his alleged ties to the American Mafia. In 1957, Joseph Todaro Sr. founded La Nova Pizzeria, a small pizza shop that would eventually become a beloved institution in Buffalo and the western New York region. As a young boy, Todaro Jr. spent countless hours at the pizzeria, learning the ropes of the family business and developing a keen sense for entrepreneurship. By the time he reached adulthood, Joseph Todaro Jr. had become an integral part of La Nova Pizzeria's operations. His business acumen and dedication helped the pizzeria grow from a local favorite to a regional powerhouse, known for its delicious pizza and chicken wings. But as the pizzeria's success soared, so did the whispers of the Todaro family's alleged involvement in organized crime. Joseph Todaro Jr.'s rise in the business world was paralleled by his alleged ascent within the Buffalo crime family. The Todaros were long suspected of holding leadership roles in the American Mafia, a shadowy world of illicit activities that included labor racketeering, bookmaking, loan sharking, and narcotics trafficking. Despite these allegations, both Todaro Sr. and Todaro Jr. consistently denied any involvement in organized crime. In the 1970s, Todaro Jr. became a business agent for the Laborers International Union of North America, Local 210. This position placed him at the heart of the labor movement in Buffalo, but it also drew the attention of law enforcement. In 1976, Todaro Jr. was accused of being involved in an unsuccessful plot to murder Faust Novino, a local figure with ties to the underworld. According to Novino's testimony, the ambush was orchestrated by his associate Louis Pisa and involved several men, including Todaro Jr. The 1976 ambush was a turning point in Todaro Jr. Westlife. Although he was never convicted, the incident cemented his reputation as a key player in the Buffalo crime family. By 1984, Todaro Jr. allegedly became the underboss of the crime family, following his father's ascension to the role of boss upon the retirement of Samuel "Sam the Farmer" Frangiamore. The FBI's interest in the Todaros intensified in the late 1980s. In 1989, an FBI statement identified Joseph Todaro Sr. and Joseph Todaro Jr. as the leaders of a 45-made member of the Buffalo Mafia family. The statement claimed that the Todaros controlled various criminal enterprises, including labor racketeering, bookmaking, loan sharking, and narcotics trafficking. It also suggested that Todaro Jr. was running the Mafia family while his father was in semi-retirement, splitting his time between his homes in Tonawanda and Florida. The FBI's investigation revealed a complex network of criminal activities allegedly overseen by the Todaros. Leonard F. Falzone was identified as running a local loan sharking operation, while brothers Victor and Daniel Sansanese were said to control bookmaking for the family. family. Despite the FBI's efforts, including bugging Falzone's union-owned car in 1988, they were unable to gather sufficient evidence to link the Todaros directly to the illegal gambling case. Throughout these turbulent years, La Nova Pizzeria continued to thrive. The pizzeria's growing popularity provided a legitimate front for the Todaro family's alleged criminal activities. Joseph Todaro Jr., his ability to balance his business ventures with his alleged role in the Mafia, showcased his cunning and resourcefulness. Despite the allegations and legal battles, Joseph Todaro Jr. has always maintained a strong family presence. He married Carol Ann Cookie and had two children, Joseph E. Todaro and Carla, who later married Salvatore Pantano. The Todaro family's close-knit bond and their success in the pizzeria business have been a source of pride, even as they faced mounting scrutiny from law enforcement. Up next is Skinny Joey Merlino, the boss of the Philadelphia crime family, who has been seen to interact regularly with the media and the public. Joey Merlino of the Philadelphia family. Joey Merlino, born Joseph Salvatore Merlino on March 13, 1962 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, was destined for a life intertwined with the underworld. Raised in South Philadelphia and Ventnor City, New Jersey, Merlino was born into a family deeply entrenched in organized crime. His father, Salvatore Chucky Merlino, served as the underboss of the Philadelphia crime family, a position that would significantly influence Joey's path. From a young age, Joey was exposed to the gritty realities of mob life. His father owned and operated the 9M bar in Southwark, which notorious mobster Nicky Scarfo used as his criminal headquarters during his bid to become the new boss of the Philadelphia crime family. This environment provided Joey with a first-hand look at the inner workings of organized crime and the power struggles that came with it.
Okay. Were you getting arrested as a kid at all?
I got a few times. Minor
Okay.
shit, throwing eggs at cops. But the cops used to laugh at us. They used to take us and drive us like 2 miles away and let us walk home.
Joey's early years were marked by violence and criminal activity. In August 1982, at the age of 20, he and Salvatore Scafidi, the son of bookmaker Gaetano Scafidi Sr., brutally beat and stabbed two patrons at the Lido restaurant in Atlantic City. This incident led to Joey's conviction on 2 counts of aggravated assault and 1 count of possession of a weapon for unlawful purposes. By 1984, Joey was banned from New Jersey casinos due to his criminal activities, a ban that his father also faced. The Merlino family's criminal legacy extended beyond Joey and his father. Joey's uncle, Lawrence Yogi Merlino, was a mobster-turned-government witness, and his sister, Maria, was briefly engaged to Salvatore Testa, another figure in the Philadelphia crime family. This web of connections further solidified Joey's place within the criminal underworld. Despite his father's demotion from underboss to soldier due to alcoholism and subsequent imprisonment for racketeering and drug trafficking, Joey continued to climb the ranks. His reputation as a particularly vicious and ruthless individual grew, and he became known for his obsession with his public image. Mob associate Ron Previte, a police officer turned gangster turned government witness, described Joey as a party guy who loved to gamble, go out, and live the high life. Joey's annual Christmas parties for the homeless and his presence at nightclubs, restaurants, and sporting events only added to his notoriety. In August 1989, Joey faced charges of interstate theft and conspiracy related to a $352,000 heist from a Federal Armored Express truck in 1987. He was convicted in January 1990 and sentenced to 3 years in prison. It was during this time that Joey met mobster Ralph Natali at the Federal Correctional Institution, McKean. Natali serving a 15-year sentence for arson and drug trafficking, and Joey began plotting to take over the Philadelphia crime family. Natali named several key associates and co-conspirators in their plan, including Michael Ciancaglini, Stephen Mazzone, George Borghese, Gaetano Tommy Horsehead Scafidi, and Martin Angelina. These men, all close friends of Joey since high school, started moving in on criminal rackets in Philadelphia. When John Stanfa emerged as the new leader of the Philadelphia family in 1991, Joey and his crew, dubbed the Young Turks by the press, openly rebelled against him. The conflict between Joey and Stanfa escalated into a violent mob war. On January 29, 1992, the Young Turks struck first with the killing of Felix Bocchino. Joey was released from prison in April 1992, and in an attempt to quell further violence, Stanfa officially inducted Joey and his best friend Michael Ciancaglini into the crime family. However, this act of diplomacy was short-lived, and by 1993, an all-out war broke out between Stanfa and Joey. On August 5, 1993, Joey survived a drive-by shooting assassination attempt by 2 Stanfa gunmen, taking 4 bullets in the leg and buttocks. Tragically, his best friend Michael Ciancaglini was shot in the chest and died. The violence continued, with a drive-by shooting on August 31, 1993, targeting targeting Stanfa and his son on the Schuylkill Expressway. Although Stanfa escaped uninjured, his son survived being shot in the jaw. The war claimed more lives, including a friend of Joey's who was shot and killed by Stanfa gunmen on September 17, 1993. Despite numerous assassination attempts, Joey emerged victorious when Stanfa was arrested for Racketeer-Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act violations in March 1994. Stanfa was convicted in 1995 and sentenced to life in 1996. With most of Stanfa's supporters also arrested and convicted, Joey, released from prison in November 1994, won the war and named Ralph Natali as the new boss while positioning himself as the underboss. However, it was widely believed that Joey was the real power behind the scenes. In the almost 90-year history of the Zerilli family, Jack Giacalone was named only the fourth ever godfather, and his operations in the USA run deep. Jack Giacalone of the Zerilli family. Jack Giacalone's rise to power within the Zerilli crime family is a story deeply rooted in legacy and influence. Born into a family synonymous with organized crime, Giacalone's path was seemingly predestined. His father, Vito "Billy Jack" Giacalone, served as the underboss of the Detroit Mafia, while his uncle, Anthony "Tony Jack" Giacalone, was a legendary figure in the Michigan underworld. These familial ties provided Jack with a unique vantage point into the inner workings of the mob from a young age. Growing up, Giacalone was immersed in the world of crime. His father and uncle were instrumental in shaping the Detroit Mafia, known for their ruthlessness and strategic know-how. Vito Giacalone, a feared enforcer, was known for his ability to maintain order and discipline within the family. Tony Jack, on the other hand, was a master strategist, involved in high-profile criminal activities, including the infamous disappearance of labor leader Jimmy Hoffa in 1975. Jack Giacalone's early involvement in the family's operations began under the tutelage of his father and uncle. He quickly proved himself to be a capable and loyal member of the organization. By the 1990s, Giacalone had risen to the position of street boss, a role that placed him in charge of the family's day-to-day operations. This position allowed him to demonstrate his leadership skills and strategic thinking, earning the respect and loyalty of his peers. The turning point in Giacalone's career came in 2012 when Giacomo "Blackjack" Tocco, the long-standing boss of the Detroit Mafia, appointed him as the acting boss. Tocco, who had led the family for over 3.5 decades, was preparing for his retirement and saw Giacalone as the natural successor. This appointment was a testament to Giacalone's capabilities and the trust Tocco had in him. In 2014, Giacalone officially took over as the boss of the Zerilli crime family, following Tocco's retirement. This marked a new era for the Detroit Mafia, with Giacalone at the helm. His rise to power was not just a result of his familial connections, but also his ability to navigate the complex and dangerous world of organized crime. Under his leadership, family has continued to thrive, maintaining its influence and power in the criminal underworld. Another of the big five families of New York is up next, with none other than Victor Amuso at the helm. Victor Amuso of the Lucchese crime family. The Lucchese crime family, one of the infamous five families of New York, continues to operate under the iron-fisted rule of Victor Amuso, even as he serves a life sentence. Despite his incarceration, Amuso's strategic acumen and ruthless leadership have ensured that the family remains a formidable force in organized crime. The current structure of the Lucchese family is a testament to Amuso's ability to adapt and maintain control. At the top, Amuso remains the official boss, issuing orders and making key decisions from his prison cell. His influence is channeled through a carefully selected leadership team that oversees day-to-day operations. Michael "Big Mike" DeSantis, a Brooklyn-based mobster, serves as the acting boss, a position he assumed in 2017, following a directive from Amuso. DeSantis's appointment marked a significant shift in the family's power dynamics, moving the center of power back to Brooklyn. Under DeSantis's leadership, the family has continued to engage in traditional mafia activities, including extortion, loan sharking, illegal gambling, and drug trafficking. Supporting DeSantis is Patty Red Delarusso, who holds the position of acting underboss. Delarusso's role is crucial in maintaining the family's operations, ensuring that Amuso's orders are executed efficiently. The position of consigliere, the family's advisor and mediator, is held by Andrew DeSimone, a Bronx-based mobster. DeSimone's role involves resolving disputes within the family and providing counsel to the leadership. The Lucchese family operates through a network of crews, each responsible for specific territories and criminal enterprises. These crews are spread across the Bronx, Long Island, Manhattan, New Jersey, and Staten Island, ensuring the family's influence extends throughout the region. Each crew is led by a capo, who reports directly to the acting boss and underboss, maintaining a hierarchical structure that facilitates efficient operation and control. Known activities of the Lucchese family today include extortion rackets targeting local businesses, loan sharking operations that prey on those in financial distress, and illegal gambling rings that generate significant revenue. The family also remains involved in drug trafficking, leveraging their extensive network to distribute narcotics across the region. Construction and union racketeering continue to be lucrative ventures, with the family exerting influence over labor unions to secure contracts and kickbacks. Despite the challenges posed by law enforcement and internal strife, the Lucchese family has managed to adapt and thrive under Amuso's leadership. His ability to orchestrate operations from prison, appoint loyalists to key positions, and maintain a cohesive structure has ensured the family's continued dominance in the world of organized crime. The current state of the Lucchese family is a testament to Amuso's enduring influence and strategic brilliance, making him one of the most formidable mafia bosses currently active in the United States. Up next, we're in the City of Angels, where Peter Milano made his mark as the long-standing boss of the Los Angeles crime family. Peter Milano of the Los Angeles crime family. Peter John Milano was born on December 22, 1925, in Cleveland, Ohio. His father, Anthony Milano, was a significant figure in the Cleveland crime family, serving as the underboss from the 1930s until his retirement in 1976. The Milano family was no stranger to the criminal underworld, with Peter's uncle, Frank Milano, being the boss of the Cleveland family and a member of the original commission from 1931, until he fled the country in 1935 to avoid tax evasion charges. Growing up in such an environment, Peter Milano was destined to follow in his family's footsteps. The Milanos moved to Beverly Hills, California in the late 1930s or early 1940s when Peter was still a teenager. This relocation marked the beginning of Peter's journey into the world of organized crime. After graduating from high school, Peter Milano wasted no time in immersing himself in the criminal activities that surrounded him. He became involved with Mickey Cohen's syndicate, a notorious group known for its illegal gambling operations. Milano quickly proved his worth and became an integral part of Cohen's operations, gaining valuable experience and connections in the criminal underworld. Peter's early involvement in organized crime set the stage for his future rise to power. His family's deep ties to the Mafia, combined with his own ambition and cunning, made him a formidable figure in the world of crime. As he navigated the waters of illegal gambling and other illicit activities, Peter Milano was laying the groundwork for what would become a notorious and influential career as the eventual boss of the Los Angeles crime family. In 1981, the top members of the Los Angeles crime family, including boss Dominic Brooklier, were sentenced to jail time on RICO charges. This left a huge power vacuum in the family and enabled Milano to step up and become the acting boss. With Brooklier's death in 1984, Milano was made boss of the family and named his brother Carmen his underboss. Milano took charge of a depleted family and was successful in having illegal bookmakers pay tribute to his family, which was already heavily involved in extortion. On October 28, 1984, Milano was one of 20 people arrested as part of the LAPD's Operation Lightweight and accused of trying to take over a $1 million a week bookmaking operation. Milano was released due to lack of evidence. Milano and his brother, Carmen, were among 15 people arrested and charged on May 22, 1987, in an 18-count federal racketeering indictment following a 4-year investigation by the Department of Justice Organized Crime Task Force and the FBI. The indictment linked Milano with a conspiracy to murder Louis Tom Dragna over a statement that Dragna had given to the FBI, as well as the planned murder of John Patrick DiMattia. In March 1988, Milano pleaded guilty again to racketeering charges and received a 6-year prison sentence. He never acknowledged being a part of the Mafia. On April 4, 1991, Milano was paroled from prison, and his rule over the city of Los Angeles only increased. Milano was smart enough to not only rely on illegal methods of making money, but he also had legal sources of income. His legitimate businesses were in real estate properties and a vending company called Rome Vending Company. Next up is Michael "The Nose" Mancuso, another major boss of the Bonanno crime family, one of 5 families. Michael Mancuso of the Bonanno family. Michael Mancuso's journey into the dark world of organized crime began long before he became the notorious boss of the Bonanno crime family. Born on July 18, 1955 in New York City, Mancuso grew up in an environment where crime was a way of life. His early years were marked by a series of petty crimes that eventually led him to the infamous East Harlem Purple Gang. The East Harlem Purple Gang was a ruthless group known for its violent activities and drug trafficking in the streets of New York during the 1980s. Mancuso quickly made a name for himself within the gang, earning a reputation for his willingness to do whatever it took to get ahead. This affiliation with the Purple Gang was the first step in Mancuso's ascent within the criminal underworld. However, Mancuso's life took a dark and tragic turn in August 1984. In a shocking act of violence, he fatally shot his wife, Evelina. Her lifeless body was left on a bench in front of Jacobi Hospital in the Bronx, a grim testament to the brutality that Mancuso was capable of. The murder of his wife sent shockwaves through the community and marked a significant turning point in his criminal career. Mancuso pleaded guilty to manslaughter and received a 10-year prison sentence. This period of incarceration basically served as an initiation for Mancuso, hardening him and solidifying his resolve to climb the ranks of organized crime. The manslaughter of Evelina was not just a personal tragedy, but also a pivotal moment that set the stage for Mancuso's future within the Mafia. As he served his sentence, Mancuso's connections within the criminal world only grew stronger. By the time he was released, he was ready to take on a more significant role within the Mafia. His early life and criminal beginnings were a prelude to the more extensive and more violent operations that would come to define his reign as the boss of the Bonanno crime family. In 2004, acting boss Vincent Bastiano promoted him to the acting underboss position. He then became acting boss in November 2004 after Bastiano was imprisoned. In May 2005, Joseph Massino implicated Mancuso in the 1999 murder of Gerlando Schiascia, allegedly leading to a hit being placed on him in early 2006 by Bastiano himself. Later that year, Mancuso was arrested in Las Vegas for ordering the murder of associate Randolph Pizzolo on November 30, 2004. Mancuso followed the orders of imprisoned acting boss Vincent Bastiano and arranged Pizzolo's murder. The hit was carried out by soldier Anthony Ace Aiello, and on August 6, 2008, Mancuso and soldier Aiello pled guilty to murdering Pizzolo. The judge sentenced Mancuso to 15 years in prison and Aiello to 30 years in prison for the murder of Pizzolo. In June 2013, Mancuso, while imprisoned for the last 5 years, was picked as the new official boss of the family and has been controlling the affairs of the family ever since through his Bronx associates and underboss Thomas DiFiore. The cheeseman himself is up next, Carmen Denunzio, the leader of the Patriarca crime family who became one of the few bosses to evolve into the digital age of crime. Carmen Denunzio of the Patriarca crime family. Carmen, the cheeseman. Denunzio's rise within the Patriarca crime family is a story of ambition, strategy, and determination. Born in 1958, Denunzio grew up in Boston's North End, a neighborhood known for its strong Italian-American community and deep ties to organized crime. From a young age, Denunzio was exposed to the world of the Mafia, and it wasn't long before he began making a name for himself within the criminal underworld. Denunzio's early years in the Mafia were marked by his involvement in various low-level criminal activities. He started with small-time extortion and loan sharking, gradually earning the trust and respect of higher-ranking members of the Patriarca crime family. His nickname, the Cheeseman, originated from his ownership of a cheese shop in Boston's North End, which served as a front for his illicit activities. This seemingly innocuous business allowed Denunzio to operate under the radar while building his criminal empire. In the 1990s, Denunzio's reputation within the family began to grow. He became a made man, a significant milestone in any mobster's career. This formal induction into the Mafia signified that Denunzio had proven his loyalty and worth to the family. As a made man, he was now part of the inner circle and had the protection and support of the entire organization. Denunzio's rise through the ranks was not without challenges. The 1990s were a tumultuous time for the Patriarca crime family. The family faced internal strife, power struggles, and increased pressure from law enforcement. Despite these obstacles, Denunzio managed to navigate the treacherous waters of the Mafia, using his cunning and strategic mind to outmaneuver rivals and solidify his position within the family. One of the key factors in Denunzio's ascent was his ability to forge strong alliances. He cultivated relationships with influential figures within the Patriarca crime family and other Mafia organizations. These alliances provided him with the support and resources needed to climb the ranks. Denunzio's charm and charisma also played a crucial role in winning over allies and gaining the trust of his superiors. In 2008, Denunzio's criminal activities caught the attention of law enforcement. He was indicted on charges of bribery and extortion, accused of attempting to bribe an undercover FBI agent posing as a state official to secure a bid for a lucrative construction project. Despite the serious charges, Denunzio's influence within the family remained strong. He was sentenced to 6 years in federal prison, but even behind bars, he continued to wield power and control over the Patriarca crime family. Upon his release in 2015, Denunzio wasted no time in reasserting his authority. The family had faced numerous challenges during his incarceration, including increased scrutiny from law enforcement and internal power struggles. Denunzio's return brought a sense of stability and direction to the family. His leadership style, characterized by a combination of old-school mafia traditions and modern criminal tactics, resonated with both veteran members and the younger generation of mobsters. Denunzio's ability to adapt to the evolving landscape of organized crime was a key factor in his success. He recognized the importance of embracing new technologies and diversifying the family's criminal enterprises. Under his leadership, the Patriarca crime family expanded its operations into cybercrime, identity theft, and other digital scams. This shift allowed the family to stay ahead of law enforcement and generate new revenue streams. Up next, we have Joseph M. Perna of the Lucchese, New Jersey family, who took the gambling operations in the United States to unprecedented levels. Joseph M. Perna of the Lucchese, New Jersey family. Born into a family with deep roots in organized crime, Joseph was groomed from a young age to take on a leadership role. His father, Ralph V. Perna, was a prominent capo in the New Jersey faction of the Lucchese family, and Joseph, along with his brothers John and Ralph M., was destined to follow in his footsteps. The Lucchese crime family, one of the infamous 5 families that dominate organized crime in New York City, has a long and storied history. Founded in the 1920s, the family has been involved in various illegal enterprises, including racketeering, gambling, drug trafficking, and murder. The New Jersey faction, led by the Perna family, played a crucial role in expanding the family's operations beyond New York, establishing a stronghold in the Garden State. Joseph's rise within the Lucchese family was marked by his involvement in their extensive gambling operations. Gambling has always been a lucrative venture for organized crime, and the Lucchese family was no exception. They ran a sophisticated network of illegal sports betting and high-stakes poker games, generating millions of dollars in revenue. Joseph quickly proved himself to be a clever and ruthless operator, using a combination of charm, intimidation, and violence to maintain control over the family's gambling empire. In 2010, the New Jersey Office of the Attorney General announced the indictment of the Lucchese crime family hierarchy, including Joseph and his father Ralph. The charges included gambling, money laundering, and racketeering. The Pernas were accused of running a multi-billion-dollar gambling enterprise that spanned across several states. This indictment was a significant blow to the Lucchese family, but it also highlighted Joseph's central role in their operations. Joseph's involvement in the gambling enterprise was not limited to overseeing the operations. He was also deeply involved in the enforcement side of the business. The Pernas used a combination of threats, violence, and bribery to maintain control over their operations. They employed a team of enforcers to collect debts and intimidate anyone who dared to challenge their authority. These enforcers were known for their brutality, and they did not hesitate to use violence to achieve their goals. Despite the constant threat of law enforcement, Joseph managed to keep the gambling operation running smoothly for several years. He used a network of legitimate businesses to launder the proceeds from the gambling enterprise, making it difficult for authorities to trace the money back to the Lucchese family. This level of sophistication and cunning allowed Joseph to stay one step ahead of the law, even as the authorities closed in on his operations. In 2016, Joseph M. Perna was sentenced to 10 years in prison for his role in the gambling enterprise. However, this was not the end of his criminal career. While incarcerated, Joseph continued to run the family's operations from behind bars. He used a network of trusted associates to relay orders and manage the day-to-day activities of the organization. If you enjoyed this video, check out our other awesome videos detailing life in the crime underworld on the channel. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.